Hi everyone, dear friends. Today I woke up in a good mood. I want to go on a quest for adventure. I think it's going to be fun. Oh, it's Poor. It's open.
Hi, Rich. I got bored and had a great idea.
What's the idea, Poor?
Let's do a build challenge in Minecraft.
I like that idea, Poor. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's go.
But first, we have to say hi to our viewers.
Of course, Rich.
Hello everyone, dear friends. Today we will build awesome buildings in Minecraft.
We'll have 3 rounds in total. And you write in the comments who did it better.
Are you ready, Poor?
Yes, Rich. Let's get started.
For the first round, I'll be using wood and pistons. All right, here we go. Security Phase 1. I'm keeping it simple this round, but don't underestimate the power of good design. Even small houses can be tough to break into if you plan them right. Every corner of this build has a purpose, and I'm thinking ahead about how to defend it. Speaking of defense, did you know that medieval castles used moats as one of their best lines of protection? It's the same idea here. Create barriers, even if they're small, to slow down anyone trying to get in. I've added a few surprises already, but let's keep those secret for now. The trick with building a secure house is to make it look unassuming on the outside, while hiding some clever surprises within. It's funny, Poor and I once had this conversation about how we'd design our dream bases if Minecraft were real life. I said I'd build a high-tech bunker, and he joked about just digging a hole in the ground because no one would ever look there. Honestly, his keep it simple strategy has inspired me more than once. You know, the idea of small but strong structures isn't new. In ancient Japan, samurai built tea houses as retreats, but they were designed to be defensible. Even a place meant for peace had a layer of protection. It's like that balance of calm and readiness that I'm aiming for here. Every little detail, from reinforced corners to hidden traps, is planned with that in mind. All that's left is to add the essentials for survival: workbench, stove, chests, safe, bed, and closet. That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
Okay, my house might not be the prettiest, but it's got one job: keeping intruders out. I've added spikes around the edges to make it harder for anyone to sneak close. It's simple, but effective, I think. This reminds me of the time Rage and I decided to prank each other's bases. I set up a bunch of traps around his house, and he retaliated by surrounding mine with water and boats. It was chaos trying to get in. That's probably where my love for building defenses started. I learned that the best strategy isn't just about strength, but making things inconvenient for whoever's trying to invade. Oh, did you know that the oldest known fortresses date back to around 5000 BCE? They weren't big, but their design focused on using natural barriers like cliffs and rivers. It's kind of like this: small, but with strategic placement to keep enemies at bay. Rage and I have talked about defenses before, like those big fortresses you see in movies. Mine's a mini version, but it still counts. I know it's not as polished as his, but hey, as long as it keeps the bad guys out, it's a win for me. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Poor, your house may be small, but those spikes are genius. Sometimes it's the simple ideas that are the most effective. You've got this rugged style that really works for a first round.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. That's really cool.
Thanks, Poor. For round 2, I'll be using quartz. Time to step up the game. This is where the real fun begins, setting up traps, cameras, and even a few puzzles to keep intruders guessing. My goal is to make anyone who tries to sneak in regret it immediately. It's all about layers of security. Did you know that modern high-security buildings use things like motion sensors and even facial recognition? I don't have that tech in Minecraft, but I'm trying to replicate the same vibe. Poor might think I'm overdoing it, but trust me, you can never have too much security when it comes to protecting what's yours. Poor once said I overcomplicate things, and honestly, he's not wrong. But I like to think of it as being prepared for anything. Plus, adding these little details is so much fun. Did you know that the world's most secure house, the Safe House in Poland, has moving walls and even a drawbridge? That's the kind of inspiration I'm channeling here. Also, security isn't just about keeping people out. It's about creating a space that feels safe. When we first started playing Minecraft, Poor and I used to build these tiny dirt huts, and even though they were simple, they felt like home. There's going to be a lot of defense in my house. It will be both cozy, thanks to beautiful furniture, and protected thanks to technology. There will be alarms, cameras, lasers, and passwords. My house is almost done. The only thing left to do is to add lasers so that no intruder can get inside the house. Let's see what we got by looking through the cameras inside the house. That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
This time I've gone for something a bit more high-tech. My house has cameras and even a turret system. It's not as fancy as Rage's traps, but I think it'll get the job done. The cool thing about security is that it's all about creativity, finding unexpected ways to stop people in their tracks. Did you know that ancient Romans used geese as a security system? They'd honk loudly whenever someone approached. My turrets are kind of like that, only they don't need food or water. Rage has been helping me with tips about security in our previous builds, and I think I'm finally catching on. It's cool to experiment with different ideas and see what works best. Maybe one day I'll even outsmart his traps. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Wow, Poor. Your setup is looking seriously high-tech now. Cameras, turrets, and that sleek design. You've totally leveled up. It's impressive how you're balancing function and style here.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. That's really cool. The house looks so big and very secure.
Thanks, Poor. In this round, I'll use a special command to quickly place my huge build. It's a very large and super secure base. There are a lot of buildings here, and they are all 100% protected. It's very cool and super technologically advanced. That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
Now we're talking ultimate security. My house is nearly indestructible this round. I've gone for the strongest materials and added traps outside to make sure no one gets even close. This is the kind of place where you'd feel safe no matter what. It's kind of funny to think how far we've come from those little wooden houses we built when we first started playing. Rage and I have both learned so much, and honestly, it's fun to challenge each other like this. Who would have thought building a fortress could be so exciting? My final house is all about ultimate security. It's made from materials that are almost impossible to break. This build is like the Fort Knox of Minecraft. I think it's amazing how much you can do with a bit of imagination. Rage and I always push each other to try new things, and it's these challenges that make every build so fun. Even when I'm just placing blocks, I'm thinking about all the crazy adventures we've had together. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Poor, this is insane. Your house looks absolutely impenetrable. The traps, the structure, everything screams, stay away. I love how you've gone all out for this final round.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. That's really cool. That huge base looks very mesmerizing.
Thanks, Poor.
It was fun today, Rich. But it's time to take a break.
You're right. We should go. Bye, Poor.
Bye, Rich. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching, friends. Subscribe and like. Don't forget to click on the bell not to miss new videos. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, dear friends. Today I woke up in a good mood. I want to go on a quest for adventure. I think it's going to be fun. Oh, it's Poor. It's open.
Hi, Rich. I got bored and had a great idea.
What's the idea, Poor?
Let's do a build challenge in Minecraft.
I like that idea, Poor. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's go.
But first, we have to say hi to our viewers.
Of course, Rich.
Hello everyone.
Dear friends, today we will build awesome buildings in Minecraft.
We'll have 3 rounds in total. And you write in the comments who did it better.
Are you ready, Poor?
Yes, Rich. Let's get started.
I will be using different colors of wool in this round. All right, time to get creative with this first round. A chocolate bar might seem simple, but I want to make sure it has that irresistible, grab me and eat me kind of look. I'm keeping it small and neat for this round, focusing on the details. The wrapper is the key here. I want it to really pop against the rest of the design. As I'm building, I'm thinking about all those times I'd grab a quick snack while working on a project. There's something so satisfying about chocolate, right? It's like the universal pick-me-up. Let's see if I can capture that feeling in this build. I've got the basic structure done. Now it's time to add a little texture to make it look like the real deal. I'm going to be extra careful to make the edges smooth. After all, the first bite of a chocolate bar is all about that clean break, isn't it? I think this is going to turn out great. Building this little chocolate bar makes me think about how universal chocolate is. No matter where you're from, chances are you've got a favorite. It's amazing to think that something so simple, just cocoa, sugar, and milk, can turn into something that people around the world enjoy. You know, fun fact, chocolate actually comes from the seeds of a fruit. The cacao tree grows these big pods, and inside are the beans that eventually become chocolate. It's kind of crazy to think that something so delicious comes from something so bitter before it's processed. While I'm working on this, I'm also laughing about that one time Poor ate way too much chocolate during a build session. He said he needed the energy, but all it did was make him hyper. I think we both learned a lesson that day. Everything in moderation, right? That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
Okay, my first chocolate creation is going to be simple and small. I'm not going for anything fancy this round, just something that looks tasty and does the job. Building the shape is actually kind of fun. It's like piecing together a memory of all the chocolates I've had growing up. I'm trying to keep the lines clean, so it looks neat and tidy. Rich always talks about how small builds can have a big impact if you get the proportions just right, so I'm focusing on that. The wrapper is my favorite part to design. It's such a small detail, but it makes all the difference. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Wow, Poor. I really like what you've done here. The simplicity of your chocolate bar is charming. Sometimes, less really is more, you know?
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. This chocolate bar is really cool. I like it.
Thanks, Poor. For round 2, I'll be using wool, wood, and other colored blocks. All right, stepping things up for round 2. I'm thinking of one of the most famous chocolate combinations out there. You know the one. It's got that perfect balance of crunch and sweetness. I want to get the shape just right because this bar has a very specific look that makes it instantly recognizable. As I'm building, I'm thinking about how clever the design of some chocolate bars is. They're not just tasty, they're actually engineered to make you crave them. From the packaging to the textures, everything is carefully planned. It's kind of cool when you think about it. The hardest part is making sure the sections are even. If I can pull that off, this build will really stand out. I'm also working on a fun little detail to make the wrapper look like it's been slightly unwrapped. I think that's going to add a lot of character. You know what's interesting? The idea of combining chocolate with other flavors, like caramel or biscuits, came about because companies wanted to stand out. Today, some of those combinations are iconic, like the one I'm building right now. It's pretty cool to think how creativity in food has changed the way we enjoy it. This build is definitely more challenging than the first one. Getting those layers to look distinct but still part of the same bar is tricky, but it's worth it because it makes the design really pop. This whole challenge has me thinking about that time Per and I tried to make chocolate from scratch. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Let's just say roasting cacao beans in a Minecraft furnace doesn't quite do the trick. We ended up eating regular chocolate instead, which was probably for the best. What's interesting about Twix is how they've turned the left versus right bar debate into a marketing genius move. It's just chocolate, right? But it gets everyone talking. I wonder if this build could spark a similar debate, left side or right side better. While I'm working on the fine details, I can't help but think how cool it'd be if we had a chocolate bar themed ride. Imagine a roller coaster zooming through layers of caramel and biscuit. It'd be like Willy Wonka meets Minecraft. That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
All right, round 2. I'm stepping things up with this build. It's a bit more complex, but I want to make sure it has some personality. Adding details like little designs on the wrapper or making the shape unique really makes it stand out. Did you know that chocolate was once so valuable that the Mayans used it as currency? They'd trade cacao beans for goods. Imagine paying for something with chocolate. That sounds like the kind of economy I'd want to live in. While I'm building, I'm thinking about all the times Rich and I argued over the last piece of chocolate in a shared stash. He always says it's about strategy, but I'm pretty sure he just sneaks an extra piece when I'm not looking. It's all in good fun, though. Maybe I'll build this one as a peace offering. This round, I'm going for a chocolate that's all about surprises. It might look simple on the outside, but inside, it's got a lot going on. I want to make sure the layers come through in my design. Rich always says I should push myself in these challenges, so I'm trying to add a little more detail this time. It's definitely trickier, but I think it's worth it. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Poor, this is absolutely incredible. The scale, the details, the effort, it's all there. I'm genuinely impressed by how far you've come from round 1. This giant chocolate bar is a masterpiece.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. That's really cool. That chocolate bar looks very delicious.
Thanks, Poor.
In this round, I'll use a special command to quickly place my huge build.
That huge Kinder looks amazing. I really love Kinder, but I always end up with the same toys. It's sad. This build is very realistic and detailed. It's like I'm looking at a Kinder in real life. I'm shocked. Very cool. That was cool. I wonder what Poor is doing now.
Okay, here we go. The big finale. I'm going all out with a massive chocolate bar. The goal here is to make something that looks larger than life, like it came straight out of a candy lover's dream. I'm focusing on symmetry and balance for this build. A bar this big needs to look like it could break into perfect squares. It's tricky getting everything lined up, but it's really satisfying when it all comes together. Thinking about this reminds me of all the times Rich and I used to compete over snacks. Who could eat a candy bar faster? Or who could guess the flavor blindfolded? This feels like the ultimate tribute to those fun times. Did you know that the largest chocolate bar ever made weighed over 12,000 pounds? That's enough chocolate to last a lifetime. Or maybe just a weekend if you're a serious chocoholic. It's wild to think about the kind of passion people have for something as simple as chocolate. As I'm building, I'm also thinking about how much fun this challenge has been. It's not just about the competition, it's about sharing laughs and memories with Rich. Even when he sneaks a few jokes about my builds, I know he appreciates the effort. This chocolate bar is going to be massive, with all the details dialed up to 11. I want it to be something that makes you stop and say, "Wow, now that's chocolate." Let's see if it impresses Rich. Done. I wonder what Rich will say.
Poor, this is absolutely incredible. The scale, the details, the effort, it's all there. I'm genuinely impressed by how far you've come from round 1. This giant chocolate bar is a masterpiece.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's see what you've built. Wow, Rich. That's really cool. This Kinder is so huge I can't see the top.
Thanks, Poor.
It was fun today, Rich. But it's time to take a break.
You're right. We should go. Bye, Poor.
Bye, Rich. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching, friends. Subscribe and like. Don't forget to click on the bell not to miss new videos. Bye-bye.